Shalom, giving all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Peace, love, and blessings to the elect scattered around the four corners of the earth, mainly in Babylon and Great America. All right, Lord will, this be a quick edifying lesson through the spirit. And it's basically going into, the spirit of Esau being that cruel Lord, which we believe Donald Trump to be that cruel Lord, according to Isaiah, the 19th chapter. You can start at the top and read on down to verse 4 or 5, because now we're seeing the true intentions and the true motive behind the biblical Edomites, which in today's time and their nationality, so-called Caucasian white people. All right, those are the Edomites that the Bible speaks of, mainly speaking of the elites, the ones that's in control of, nations, peoples, kindreds, and tongues. All right, but before all that, let me go into Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. All right, lifted up with pride, being that lofty, person, ultimately being the wicked. And according to Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. According to 2 Ezra 6, verse 9, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we are witnessing the downfall of Babylon and Great America. And not only the prophets are knowing and prophesying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, the Lord also has the common people to wake up, getting basically plugged out of the matrix, waking up to what's really going on in life and how messed up life is. And the reason behind that is because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah set up these devils, but only for a short period of time. You can read that in Job, the 20th chapter, verse 5, Job 14 and 5. All right. And so also another scripture I was just thinking, but I forgot. But nonetheless, continue on in verse 4, but the just shall live by his faith. And that's us, the elect of Israel. Because not all Israel is of Israel on this side. All right. It's not, all Israel is not worshiping and believing on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, wanting the kingdom of heaven to be established, wanting the downfall of the heathen nations to come to pass. All right. They're not looking at things in that manner. I'm trying to think of that precept. But anyway, because basically, like I said, this is going into Esau, Edom being exposed. And, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is using, the prophets and also the people of the world. Oh, the covering cast, the Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, the covering cast that was once upon all peoples. Now that veil has been lifted up. And that's in Isaiah 25. Let's get it right quick. Isaiah 25 and 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. All right. And that destroying mountain, he would destroy. All right. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. And the mountain of the face of the covering cast over all people basically goes into Esau, Edom, having, power and rulership over all nations and people via through deception, which goes into their lies, their philosophy, and putting it on the people, and also having the mighty power of the sword, which was a blessing unto Esau during the time of Jacob and Esau. And Isaac gave him that blessing. All right. And which is all playing out today via their technology. All right. Knowledge shall be increased. All right. Esau, Edom using, their witchcraft on the left hand side to conjure up deceptions, learning about the stuff that goes on in the media, the propaganda, the Hegelian dialect, different military operations. All right, the how they socialize the people from the working class, the corporate owners, and the poor, the homeless, all that, man. And that's all through the power seat of Esau Edom. And that's let you know that this is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. I'm going to get Proverbs 29, because if you really pay attention and look at the state of the world, it is not in a good state. All right, nothing but wickedness, death, and lies and witchcraft is out here, man, really and truly. But Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, via through the prophets, that light is being shined. All right, that's why it's important for us to keep remaining in this truth and standing up for righteousness' sake in great boldness. All right, preaching to our people, whether they, listen or don't listen, but ultimately chanting down Babylon. All right, throwing down Babylon, Isaiah the 13th chapter. All right, this truth has reached into the gates of the noble. So now we are now entering into another shift where they're trying to, mobilize, their military via through martial law, censorship of the social media platforms via through YouTube, Rumbles, different social media outlets, TikTok, especially TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And that's going to cause a famine of the word. Ultimately, they want that. They want total control over all the people. All right. And they have that memo of you will own nothing and be happy. All right. And these are the elites. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And we're definitely in a state of mourning, a time of mourning. All right, that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai set up. All right, via through prophecies, because these are not the righteous people of the Lord. All right. And that's why we come week in and week out to prophesy and to tell you and warn who are the true people and who are not, ultimately, man. But we understand that only the elect is going to receive this truth, and pray that we endure unto the end, and we, keep holding fast the faithful word of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai via through prophecy. Verse 5, Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's how Esau Edom always conquers. All right. All you have to do is go throughout the history, how they stole the land of America, because this is not their rightful land. All right. The 10 tribes, which Esau and Edom even knew that. All right. The enemy knows us more than we know ourselves, man. All right. Especially, according to the 2/3, but Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai making us come back to our remembrance via through the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right. And now we have that grace and mercy to return back unto him and, come back to our customs. All right. Put on our true identity. All right. Because we are the true people of the Lord. Okay. So let me read that again. Verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. All right, very prideful. Said, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. All right, and that's why no matter how much this devil conquers the world, he wants more. All right, ultimately having that God-like complex. All right, and these are the same devils that say that we can create our own reign, create this, create that. We don't need the so-called help from God or the superior God that's in the sky. All right, that's what these devils are chanting, boasting in their technology and their miracles. Okay, but they Them being so prideful and foolish, not knowing Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai got them in a trick bag. All right, we understand that the Lord controls both wicked and righteous entities and different forces. All right, beyond our understanding. So with that being said, we know that righteousness always outpowers wickedness, man. All right, us being the hopeful elect. And Salaki, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So let's go to verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? All right, and another precept I'm thinking about, Micah, the 2nd chapter, where they work evil upon their beds. They steal a man and even his heritage, because that's ultimately what they did unto us. All right, put us in, further the affliction, put us in different conditions and, poverty-stricken environments to the point, we lose all hope. But at the end of the day, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is dealing with the elect, and there is hope. There's hope in the Lord. There's hope in the kingdom of heaven. That's why at the end of the day, this is not our rest, and we understand that, because sin is still in the air, and we're still dying, man. Here we're supposed to be immortals and the sons of gods, but we're dying as men. And the scriptures say that ye are gods, but you shall die like men. All right. So yes, we're grumpy, we're pissed off. All right, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, through the prophecies and through these scriptures, we are comforted. All right, we are protected. We are, being guided through the spirit. All right. It says, how long? And to him that laid up himself with thick clay, and that thick clay is a batia, and that's going into heavy debts, and ultimately those heavy debts of Babylon the Great is going to, collapse the physical dollar. All right, even though it's part of their agenda. Because according to prophecy, that Revelation, the 13th chapter, has to come to pass. All right. That's the hour of temptation, the MARK, because people, like I said, in these false prophets, boy, they got a lot to explaining when all hell breaks loose and this society collapse, man. I pray that horrible judgment happen upon people that's just fucking lying and selling out, their own people to the slaughter, man, just like that. Having no remorse, man, no type of soul, in my honest opinion, just lying like that. But nonetheless, them people, when that MOTB system be introduced and it be mandatory, like the elder apostle Tahar said, hey, it's gonna be a great shaking. All right, in Israel, because that's who it's only about, Israel. You Israelites, this message is for you, and if you don't receive it, you shall perish in the plagues of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's just what it is. All right. So this dollar is going to collapse, man. But this devil have this godlike complex. This is Ezekiel 28:1. The word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, which in today's time it represents Esau Edom, because it's ultimately, this is a spiritual, intake or outlook on the characteristics of the prince of Tyrus. All right. Even though this was an ancient, kingdom or a person or whatever the case may be, this happened in ancient of times, but now we're matching it with the scriptures in today's time, using the scriptures to match in today's time. And Salakia for the, the rumbling. It says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Alahayim, power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, and the seas represents the people. All right, Revelation 7, the 17th chapter, verse 15. Let's get it right quick. Matter of fact, Revelation 17, 15. It said, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. All right. And that's what it's going into. So let's go back. Ezekiel 28. Got to start using that more often instead of going all that back and forth, really. And hold on, Salakia. I'm cooking something. So. All right, I'm back. So back into it. This is Ezekiel chapter 28. And continuing on in verse 2. Yet thou art a man and not the Most High God. Though thou set thy heart or their mind as the heart of the Most High God Yahweh. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. And Daniel was a very wise man, him being a prophet of the Lord. And they're wise because of the witchcraft, all right, their technology, the miracles, all right. AI, you got AI is playing a big part and a big role in, today's technocracy, all right. Planeteer, all right, Neurolinking and all that. And also, they're showing it in the movies, too. All these movies that be coming out with AI and this and that, the third, they're showing it in the movies, man, via the left-hand side, which is the spiritual demon Satan. But the Lord has gave them that power and technology just for them to think like that. And after they think like that, they're going to fall. They're, pride goeth before destruction. It's verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. And that's Psalms 64 and verse 6. They do a diligent search. That's why Esau has all the technology to basically become likened unto a god. All right. But he is not the Most High. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is going to overthrow Esau, Edom in the time of judgments. All right, even though he has the technology and the witchcraft behind him and is working with him, damn sure working with him, Project Bluebeam and shit like that. But nonetheless, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is always going to get that victory. All right, the Lord's people. All right, the heavens, righteousness. All right, those entities are over. The spiritual demon Satan, man. Even the spiritual demon Satan bows down to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. You simple, so-called elites. All right, they're gonna lose regardless. Verse 4, with thy wisdom and with thy understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and thou hast gotten gold and silver in thy treasures. That's why they're not they're not as troubled as other men. They don't really get struck in with poverty. They don't catch the hell that other nations catch with lack of resources, and stuff like that. These elites of of Edom have the best of the whole world. The scriptures say that he was going to receive the fatness of the earth and basically all the goodness of it. But him being the wicked, eventually it was going to be a time that all that was going to fade away or start to fade away. And we're living in that time now. That's why all these things are happening. All right. That's why they're losing their power structure. They're getting exposed on every side, whether it be from the inside or whether it be from the outside. The outsiders, being the common people, mainly ultimately talking about the prophets and the whistleblowers coming in from the inside, man. And that's also in Psalms, the 64th chapter. Verse 5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic has thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. All right. And the traffic.
Strong's H, 7404. Rachala. Rachala.
Rakala. Rakala. The trader. Somebody that do trade, a merchant. And they do that because you got, look, this the only country. And I remember Elder ICR was going into it. And it's so crazy because I think this past weekend, Friday, when I was out, it was a woman doing a so-called fundraiser with another guy, doing a fundraising about human trafficking, kids going missing and all this shit. So this is your beloved America. This is the place that people have trust in and believe in, saying this is the land of opportunity, not understanding that this is the valley of the shadow of fucking death. All right? Because at the end of the day, you are a corporate slave. They work you to death to the point of no return. Sooner or later, 401ks and retirements being vanished right now. That's why at the end of the day, prophecies is going to happen and the kingdom is going to be established. The kingdom of heaven is going to be established on the planet Earth. And righteousness is going to be throughout the whole planet Earth. Because Earth is a place that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah set up for us to inhabit. All right, the sons of Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. The Lord does deal with mankind. All right, but mainly starting off with Israel, the elect, first and foremost. All right, Salakia, like I say, I'm cooking something right now. Salakia. That was that scripture. But yeah, Esau, Edom is being exposed, man, on all levels. And like I said, just watching, Elder ICR's page, watching all the videos, him and the Akim be doing very edifying videos, and it's straight to the truth. And then they have also other insiders that talks about certain things, certain articles and documents that's not really open to the average news outlet, to the public eye. All right, so all this exposure is coming in on a lot of angles, and ultimately we have the scriptures, and throughout all the stuff that's going on in life, we filter it through the scriptures because prophecy is going to outweigh everything, man. We get Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. All right. And Esau, Edom is about to fall, man. Isaiah 13 and 1, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift up ye a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. All right, and that's what we're doing. We're exalting and lifting up the banner of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, the banner of salvation, the banner of righteousness, is truth, ultimately. All right, giving our people hope. But only the ones that's going to have hope is the elect, the ones that's truly, feeling some type of way about this place. Because this place is not a righteous place, man. People should, catch the drift, but people want to stay here. They love this place because that's all they know. All right. But hey, this truth has reached into the gates of the nobles, man. We go into Isaiah 14. I'm going to close out. Oh, Salakia. Let me finish that in Ezekiel 28. And then I'm gonna have to close out in Ezekiel. Verse 6. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because thou hast set thy heart as the Most High God. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, and the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and thou shalt defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the sea, or the midst of the people. All right, ultimately the Lord is going to bring destruction upon them. All right, payback, man. All right, when they about to fulfill their bellies, then the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, is going to bring down that wrath. And that's why ultimately Babylon the Great is going to be hit with thermonuclear destruction. Esau Edom is going to lose their power seat over here because this is their breadwinner, man. All right, Babylon the Great. Okay. And through prophecy, this place is going to be destroyed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And the strangers are the other nations, the other, the ones that was in confederate with them. All these nations are going to turn on Esau Edom ultimately. All right. And once New Jerusalem be established and they come from the heavens, all right, that's when, captivity is going to begin. All right. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. Verse 9, wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a God, but thou shalt be a man and no God, and in the hand of him that slayeth thee, thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of the strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right, and ultimately, the Lord is going to use us, all right, which we were strangers upon them in a strange land. And he's going to use us to execute judgment upon the heathens too. And that's also in Ezekiel, but in the 25th chapter, that he's going to use the hand of his people Israel to bring down Esau Edom. Okay. Go to Nahum 3. This is Nahum 3 and verse 4, because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredom and families through her witchcraft. All right, through their traffic. All right, that's why Esau Edom has Babylon the Great to produce wickedness, PDFs, a horror mongering country. All right, a place that prostitution, all right, all types of things that Esau Edom sells. They sell the merchants of being the most consuming country of all countries. And Babylon the Great really rarely produce anything and pushes out anything to other countries. All right, because all the other countries at the end of the day wants to be like Babylon the Great. That's that great deception that the whore has on the beast, but that's only for a quick moment in time, because NATO and the EU that represents the beast, all right, they're all going to turn on the great whore, which is Babylon the Great, because the great whore is in control of everything in the world. Esau Edom, starting off with the elites. Verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And ultimately, the ones that was once confederate with them, they're gonna turn their backs on Babylon the Great America. All right, and that's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. The Lord is putting the spirit on these nations to really hate Babylon and Esau, Edom, and ultimately they're going to be destroyed. I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. I will cast thee abominable filth among thee, and make thee vile, and I will set thee as a gazing stock. All right, and ultimately, the Lord is going to overthrow this place, Babylon the Great. So with that, I'm going to close out by saying, Kahalayam La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach us the truth. All right, peace, love, and blessings to the elect scattered around the four corners of the earth, mainly in Babylon the Great. Till next time, I say Shalom.